If there was one movie you could completely delete from reality, what would it be?
The live-action Avatar: The Last Airbender. This was the movie I had in mind when I was writing this question. I just finished the TV series and the movie is terrible. I would remove the movie, The Mandela Effect, because it would cause mass confusion and lead on to the topic of the Mandela Effect and people would go insane.
The live-action Dragon Ball movie, it's just sad. Didn't know one existed. Probably for a reason. Edit. Oh god, that's bad. I started watching it and it was so bad I regret everything.
Artemis Fowl. There are enough issues with the film to make even a casual watcher hate it. Forget about those who read the books. They went beyond screwing up. He has a butler named Domu Butler, me, visible anger. But no one ever calls him Butler. That was a deliberate slap in the face to everyone who read and loved the books as children. Like, fuck you. This isn't your story anymore. We're gonna take a steamy dump all over it and there's nothing you can do. Eragon. One of the most disappointing movies of my lifetime. I've seen this Sands of so often I have fortunately avoiding seeing that movie.
The fourth Harry Potter, so people will wonder why they made all the movies but just skip the fourth.
The Fahrenheit 451 movie, just for the irony.
Cats. I don't know what the director was thinking with Cats.
Everyone will rue the day they stopped the release of the Butthole Cut. Muahaha. The Dark Tower. Stephen King fans waited years and years and years for this movie. Only for a 90-minute bullshit parade that didn't scratch the surface of the story.
The Emoji Movie.
Also, how TF is the eggplant emoji unpopular in a movie about a high schooler? This guy's asking the right questions. This guy stole the joke from CinemaSins, so he didn't really deserve an award. There's two that come right to the top of my mind. One, the live-action Avatar, TLA, and the second, Eragon. Honestly, Eragon is probably the winner in my mind. It's a 4-part book series that could have made fantastic movies. But whoever made the first movie had apparently never read the books because they made some seriously critical errors that made a second book narratively impossible. The third and fourth, Mummy. Let The Mummy Returns be the gold standard for sequels. Edit. So many gold quality sequels have entered this chat.
Greater than Let The Mummy Returns be the gold standard for sequels. Terminator 2 has entered the chat. Can I delete Season 8 of Game of Thrones instead? Can we delete Season 7 as well?
Just delete everything from Season 5.
Dragon Ball Evolution. Birth of a Nation. It sparked violence against the black community and kickstarted a new surge in interest in the KKK. Edit. Copied from one of my comment responses. The KKK existed, yes, but it was a smaller, regional organization. The film was propaganda, when it was the first film screened, and marketed widely as such. At the White House at Wilson's request, people saw it as him giving it the rubber stamp of approval. Almost an endorsement for the film's portrayal of black men as unintelligent and predatory. William J. Simmons took the opportunity of the film's screenings to garner visibility for the KKK, and held a huge cross burning. Took out ads for KKK membership alongside ads for the film, and went to screenings with his Klansmen in full regalia. They sold costumes. Movie ushers wore white sheets, and they handed out KKK brochures at screenings. It was used as a recruitment tool and can be directly credited as the reason the KKK has a rebirthing of its own. Now I feel shitty for saying Cats. Thank a lot. The Dark Tower. Well, all realities. There are other worlds than these. Edit. Apparently people who didn't read the books enjoyed this movie. My advice: if you enjoyed what you saw, read the books if you want a really amazing story that blows the film version out of the water. Did a Chuck Sony Pictures? What the fuck? Kissing Booth. No Kissing Booth. No Kissing Booth 2. Fuck that movie.
I love how the main character has no aspirations of her own. It's especially evident in the second movie when she is forced to choose between the school her boyfriend goes to or the school her best friend wants to go to. Like, what about the school you want to go to? And she somehow gets accepted to fucking Harvard.
Add Tall Girl to that list as well. Might as well call it First World Problems the movie.
Son of the Mask.
That movie is so bad that even though I know for a fact that I have definitely seen it, I do not recall one single detail of it. I completely blocked it from memory. Sierra * Burgess is a loser. The main character that you're supposed to feel for is a catfish the entire movie and gets mad at things just never goes away because she isn't pretty. Not because she comes off thinking she is better than other people, because she knows literature or literally lies 90% of the movie. Edit. Sierra not Sarah. So awful I did not even remember her name. Yeah, she's a horrible entitled person and the movie was trash. They were trying to play on the whole ugly people can beautiful on the inside too. But no. This particular ugly person was also a bad person. Netflix's Death Note.
I still don't get how it shows up under the horror genre on Netflix. It's mostly a comedy. It's like they looked at the anime manga and thought, hey, they kids love the spooky aspect and that scary looking dude. Forget the cat and mouse game. Light has to be a relatable teen. He can't be smart or a sociopath. He has to be clumsy and relatable. Oh, and we'll keep him the same. But he's more in your face rather than hands off. 50 Shades of Grey. Period. Two birds with one stone. It would also rid us of its hellspawn. 365 days.
The Percy Jackson movies. They were horrible.
A movie I hated led me to one of my favorite books. A Serbian film, Monsieur. The Wikipedia entry summary is something I wish I can delete from my mind.
It's shocking for shock value. It's poorly done to be honest and not nearly as bad as it sounds. It's amateurish. If it had been made by the right people it would have been the most macabre film ever. But it wasn't. Go watch Irreversible if you really want to fuck yourself up. I saw Irreversible in the movie theater when it first came out. People got up and left. I don't know what was worse. The 9-minute rape scene. Or the scene where the guy gets his head bashed in with the fire extinguisher. We sat through the whole thing. And it's honestly one of the only movies I would never watch again. It isn't a movie per se, but the 13 Reasons Why show. Once the scene with the suicide happened, I think it was within the first few episodes, I got an email from the app letting all therapists know that suicide rates and attempts spike. Not only for attempts, but successful attempts as well. Since then I've met more clients I'd like to admit that essentially learned how to be successful with suicide. Some people argue it opened up a conversation about suicide and how it isn't as rare as people would like to believe, but I'd argue that you don't open a conversation about domestic violence by showing someone a video of brutally beating their partner. Goodness, yes, that show was horrible. The whole using suicide as revenge thing didn't sit right with me either. A lot of people would have been better off and alive had that show never been made. This completely, not even including what a mess of a storyline the entire show was. Frickin' CW teen drama on steroids. The Matrix, so we can keep people in the dark. It almost ruined our entire project. You almost leaked confidential information, comrade. You know what happens now. The Cats movie. I bet 2020 is a punishment from God for humans because they made the Cats movie. After Earth. Starting Will and Jaden Smith. Worst movie ever. It was so bad, I walked out and asked for my money back.
There was a rumor that the reason Will Smith didn't appear in Independence Day 2 was not the money. It was that he was adamant about having Jaden play a role in the movie. To which the producers said no. Having watched After Earth, good call. Producers, good call. Airplane Mode by Logan Paul. Or the Minecraft movie if it comes out. I love Minecraft, but I think a Minecraft movie would make no sense and just be cringy. I don't know. I thought there was no way you can make a movie about Legos and have it make sense, but the franchise has turned out to just be delightful.
I was just about to say the same exact thing. IDK how the hell they did it, but the Lego movie was so much better than it had any right to be. I think the biggest thing was that they didn't try and make a movie with Lego as a set piece, but rather made a movie that was geared towards those who grew up with Lego and appealed to nostalgia. For instance, all the movements in the Lego movie were realistic to how Lego models would actually behave, as opposed to previous movies where they were Lego, but arms would bend and nothing was rigid. If something breaks, it breaks into smaller Lego pieces. When you combine the attention to detail with a whimsical story that appeals to older audience members, as well as a lot of parodies of other WB properties, it makes for a really funny movie.
The Percy Jackson movies.
I just saw the first one. I won't be watching the rest. My wife has only read the first book. We didn't know they blended things and messed with the timeline. They put giant spoilers in the movie if you don't realize that. The Rise of Skywalker, just so they can redo it. I liked the sequel trilogy up until that movie. I even liked most of the movie. I hated the ending. Agreed. Also didn't like how they dismissed Rose after making her such an integral part of TLJ. She could have easily filled the role of Janna without any loss to the story. I wasn't Rose's biggest fan, but I hate the treatment she got. She should have had a much bigger role. Janna was fine, but introduced too late in the trilogy to mean anything. I like the idea of rebelling stormtroopers, but they went nowhere with it. Poor Finn had nothing to do except yell Rey. Honestly, they just needed to pick a director and let that person work through 3 movies. Or at least make sure that both directors are present and involved the whole way through all 3 films without Kevin Feige type overseeing all 3 films and settling any petty squabbles. The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker completely feel like the 2 directors trying to talk past each other. JJ clearly set up some storylines in Force Awakens to be paid off, and Johnson was just like, nah. So when JJ was put back in charge for number 3, he doubled down on both re-establishing his own setups and payoffs. For example, Rey was obviously set up to be Luke's daughter, or maybe, twist, a Kenobi or something. Her parentage was very much central in TFA and obviously going to be central in the sequel. But Johnson completely dropped it and in fact spun it completely the other direction. Her parents are absolutely no one of consequence. To which JJ replied by making her both a Palpatine by birth and a Skywalker by choice. I'm getting whiplash just thinking about it. I should delete The Birth of a Nation from ever existing and literally save a few lives, but I am going for that Kim Kardashian porn that made her famous instead and save us all.
I don't know. I feel as if there ever would be a movie to be deleted, it would be an Avatar: The Last Airbender movie directed by Monsieur Night Shyamalan. That guy couldn't possibly produce a good adaptation of it. Lake Leo Guy is an amazing place, by the way.
Just, YTF did he have to change how the names were pronounced? And YTF did they casting based on an audition clip where he shaved his hair and then did some karate moves? It's been 10 years and it still causes me pain.
Because Shyamalan is a hack and we've been way too nice to Hi Monsieur. A couple of things. 1. He said he got inspiration to do the movie because his daughter wore a Katara costume for Halloween. 2. When Dante Basco, the voice of Zuko, asked why they changed the names, he was told it was because of cultural appropriation from the show. Meaning he was saying that the show's names was cultural appropriation. Which is some bullshit. God, that movie pisses me off so much.
Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.